Welcome to Money Thoughts, the financial educational program that helps you think about, better understand, and gain more power over your money. I'm your host, Deborah Frazier. I'm a wealth management advisor for LRG Wealth Advisors at the firm of Hightower. My co-host, Peter Crawley, is not with us today. And I am excited to have the privilege of inviting our guest, our special guest today, Mr. John E. Harmon, Sr., IOM. John is the founder, president, and CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. Good morning, John.
Thank you for the invitation, Deborah.
Welcome to Money Thoughts. We are really, really happy to have you here.
Well, I am as well.
Okay, so John, you are an amazing leader. Mm-hmm. You started the African American Chamber of Commerce about 14 years ago, and you have been advocating on behalf of African Americans and people of color who run businesses ever since. You're advocating for them to have meaningful access to economic opportunities in the state of New Jersey. You serve on many boards of distinguished organizations, and you are also recognized as the ROI #1 most influential African American in the entire state of New Jersey. And that was for 2022, 2021, and I think you've been on the list, 10 years or so? So amazing. So before I start asking you specific questions about the African American Chamber, can you first tell us about some of the other boards that you sit on and some of the other chambers that you're a member of?
Well, again, thank you for the invitation. I'm just humbled to be here. I've just been blessed. You know, I'm on the board of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the National Black Chamber, Hackensack Meridian Health, JCP&L here in New Jersey. Recently passed off the board of Investors Bank. They were recently acquired by Citizens. I'm on the board of the Federal Reserve Advisory Board of Philadelphia, and Junior Achievement. So fortunately, I've had the Rutgers Business School.
Wow.
And there may be some I forgot, but please forgive me.
I'm sure there are many more. But I just wanted to give our audience a little background of who you really are and what an honor it is to have you here today. So let's switch gears and talk about the Chamber. So what made you start the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey?
That's a great question. You know, this June will be 15 years. June 15th.
That's right, it's coming up.
Will represent 15 years of starting the African American Chamber of Commerce in New Jersey. And so if you look at the disparities, you know, blacks, there's 1.2 million blacks in New Jersey and over 80,000 businesses. And 93% of those businesses are sole proprietorships. Right. So blacks in New Jersey have the highest unemployment, highest poverty, low median, and household incomes. And we own about 35 to 40% home ownership. But the number that jumps off the page, Deborah, our net worth is $5,900 versus $315,000 for whites. Right. And so those were some of the things that led me to start to plan and research and stand up the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey.
So when you started out, John, what was it like for you? I mean, you started out as one person and your amazing Jacqueline Baptiste at your side. Tell us a little bit about how you started out, and then how did you get to a point that made you feel like this was going to succeed?
Those are great questions. So prior to which I was president of the Metropolitan African American Chamber for 10 years. And that was not my vision, that was someone else's vision. I just signed on and helped them out. But, you know, for those who may be a little more seasoned, they could probably relate to this. I was like the Maytag repairman. We had a vision of something that we thought would work, but no one called. The phone didn't ring, no emails. And so every day I was out in the streets, going to networking events, cultivating relationships. And over time, we began to get folks to respond. Jacqueline, you referenced, who's my executive assistant, came on initially as a volunteer and then working part-time. And so we started with $14,000 with a mission and a passionate commitment to make this organization successful. And here we are today, you know, a 15-year success story. But folks think this happened overnight. I can tell you that it did not.
Well, you know, everywhere you go, John, you said the word passion. Your passion comes through. You're consistent. Everyone knows that you are walking the talk. What you preach is what you mean, and you're unashamedly, or what do you say, unapologetically for African American empowerment, and everyone respects you for that. And so thank you so much for leading us that way.
No, well, thank you. You also asked a question about, you know, how did we know when we were successful? There are a number of indicators to measure your success. You know, we have a board of directors, we have members, but when you set your benchmarks, hitting those benchmarks year in and year out, we've never had a negative year in revenue. Every year our revenue has increased. I think another measure of our success is being able to attract a talented staff.
Right.
We have some amazing men and women that work at the Chamber, 13 employees now, including myself.
Outstanding employees.
Outstanding, committed, dedicated to adding value to everyone that invests. We're an accredited organization, and I think that's probably a measure of success as well. There's 141 chambers in New Jersey. We are the only accredited in New Jersey with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
So explain to our viewers what accredited means.
So that means that the U.S. Chamber has done a hard look at our bylaws, our policies, our procedures, our programming. We're audited. We have all the governance in place. And as a result, we check the box and meet a standard in their eyes to say that we can run an effective Chamber of Commerce organization.
Right. So you said you're the only accredited?
We're the only accredited in New Jersey, and I believe we're the only black accredited Chamber of Commerce in the country with the U.S. Chamber.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. So, but when did you know in your heart that it was going to succeed?
Well, I think I realized when folks said they would write a check and be a member, and then you saw corporate sponsorships. And so as you look at the diversity of our membership, we have corporations and a diverse group of industries, telecom, pharma, you know, construction, financial services. We have over 30 financial services institutions that are members. And so it's a lot of indicators of our success. I can't point to one thing, but it feels good that people are now calling us versus me sitting back hoping that someone will respond to the email. They're pushing us now, and we're responding in kind.
So what's your proudest accomplishment? What are you most proud of?
Well, I think it's a little more personal for me. I'm proud of my sons, my 3 sons, very proud of them. But I'm proud that we have the wherewithal and respect in the marketplace that people call on us as a trusted partner. I'm proud that we have the ability to employ folks every day. And so now we have families that we're supporting. So that makes us feel good. And I'm also proud to know that our peers have recognized us as one of the leading players in this space. You mentioned the ROI recognition and New Jersey Biz recognition, which is all credible business publications, and also the partnerships with other chambers, other business organizations, with state government, county and municipal government. Those are all things to be extremely proud of.
I know. I mean, you know, I'm very involved with the Chamber. I absolutely love being affiliated with the Chamber. It has changed my life in many ways. I've acknowledged that a number of times. And all of the galas that you give, all of the educational programs you provide, all of the opportunities for networking, almost everything is sold out. Extremely well attended. People want to be there, and I think you're even reaching out globally now. At one of the recent economic summits, you had representatives from Korea. I can't remember.
So we've been talking to. Matter of fact, I've been invited to dinner with them this weekend. But the Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce, we have been working with them and trying to foster a relationship with them, and that's going well. We just connected I was on the phone with the minister from the Netherlands who oversees Aruba. We're looking for one of our members looking to set up shop in Aruba.
Wow.
Had a great meeting with them last week, and now they're going through the due diligence process to understand what's
Wow.
required. So we hope to have an announcement. It says it's going to take a few months to get a definitive response, but we're here to do what we can to help our members be more successful.
And that's a great segue, because this program is all about learning more about issues related to money. So let's talk a little about the economic part of the work you're doing at the Chamber. So how has the Chamber been able to help its members from an economic standpoint?
Well, a multitude of ways. We have, I referenced the partnerships we have with the financial services community. So clearly capital access is important. But I think a few days ago, many may have saw the interview I had with the CEO and chairman of PSE&G.
Right.
That is significant. I mean, this is the largest utility in the state, and our members have access to opportunities. And heretofore, that didn't happen. So I believe tomorrow we have an opportunity to do matchmakers with American Water with some of our members. A few days ago, I was down in Camden. Camden is about to spend $1 billion on infrastructure, positioning members for those opportunities. So we're proud that we don't have to coach anyone to give a testimony. You can pretty much pick a member of the African American Chamber of Commerce at random, and they'll tell you why they're proud to continue to reinvest and support the organization, because they're getting a return on that investment.
Yeah, the interview with President Izzo was really fantastic.
More to come. We got more CEOs lined up who want to talk publicly now.
Great. So we have to talk about George Floyd then for a moment.
Yeah.
So how has the death of George Floyd impacted how organizations are reaching out to the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I think that's another great question. George Floyd, his death, his murder, really pricked the consciousness of America, and they really started to look at blacks, from my perspective, as a value proposition versus chattel. And so our engagement with the U.S. Chamber around that led to them standing up the Equality of Opportunity Initiative, which focuses on workforce, board seats, supplier diversity, social justice issues, criminal justice reform, education, health. And we took maybe 4 pillars from that agenda: board seats, supplier diversity, workforce, and corporate citizenship investment. And we brought it back here to New Jersey, and we partnered with Tom Bracken in the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce and Michelle Kirk over in NJBIA to really drive more focus on getting black people and black businesses in a better place. Your opening question was around, what led you to establish the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey, and those issues of underperformance, those disparities. And now we're partnering with mainstream business organizations who have access to the corporations, who have access to those with resources, opportunities, and information, thus giving our members an access to this transformational proposition. So the George Floyd murder has really led folks to give us a lot of more inquiries, and we're responding, putting our members as the mutual benefit or the value proposition for that relationship.
So on the economic side, John, are you able to lend money directly to businesses?
Yes, and again through the experience with the PPP, which was an initial disaster, but turned out to be a great thing. Working with the New Jersey Bankers Association and New Jersey Community Capital, we have about $5 million available for microloans. In addition, we provide technical assistance through this partnership, but the New Jersey Bankers Association help us coalesce a broad representation of financial services organizations that are now members of our chamber. So the short answer is capital is more readily available for black businesses as a result of these strategic partnerships with the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey.
So we have local banks and local financial institutions that are really stepping up to make a difference.
Absolutely.
In the economic and social well-being of African Americans and people of color.
You're 100% right. And you can't do anything without having access to resources. And these institutions make that happen.
Just go back for a moment about one thing you said. So give me an example of what happened with the whole PPP fiasco and how that relationship had to change.
So, you know, when the federal government initially said, hey, the Paycheck Protection Program is going to be available through your banks, and inquire to your local banks, those you have relationships, to get a hand of these resources. We found that many black businesses were being rejected by banks that they had relationships with.
And many didn't even have relationships.
And that was the other issue. But those that had a seat at the table or a ticket to the dance were not admitted to the dance, notwithstanding their relationships. So we kind of got a little vocal about that and reached out to John McWeeny and others. I think Investors Bank with Kevin Cummings and others was very helpful in coalescing other financial services institutions to get directly aligned with our organization and the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, I might add. And
with Tim Sullivan?
Tim Sullivan. And we're able to respond in kind. Tim Sullivan and his team over at the EDA are just some amazing men and women who are being very creative in some instances to make sure that, you know, people who traditionally did not have access to these resources get access to them. So.
Yeah, and Tim Sullivan is consistent at all of your webinars, at all of the events, and talking about the work they're doing and encouraging people to get more involved. So it's good to see it. And I just wanted to say one thing about your webinars. One of the things I found about the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey is that you are constantly promoting education. So if you take the time, and I took total advantage of it during COVID, we were all working remotely, we were at home, and you had the time to sit and watch webinars. And I learned so much about what's going on in New Jersey, you know, what's really important, who the players are. So if people of color and businesses are looking for a way to get connected, I would just so strongly recommend the Chamber, because you'll get educated on so many different levels. And instead of you out there by yourself trying to figure it out, you can come to this platform and, you know, just do some great things.
Deborah, you're absolutely right. I mean, our mission solely is based around education, bringing folks into the economic mainstream that traditionally have not been. But others are finding value as well, right? So our mission is about black businesses and black people, but through this village approach. We're only as successful as our most committed partner and or member. And so we've been able to leverage, you know, across a lot of different industries, a lot of sectors, to coalesce this village to respond to the needs of our membership and our constituency. And by doing so, we believe it strengthens the overall competitiveness of our state.
So John, you have a number of different platforms for communication. So tell our listeners about your Pathway to Success TV program and your radio program, The Empowerment Hour. So
first of all, if you need any information on the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey, it's aaccnj.com. But we have a television show which airs every first Saturday of the month, 9 a.m. on NJPBS, and that's the Pathway to Success. And then our radio show, The Empowerment Hour, every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m., 9:20 a.m. and 9:20 ESPNNewJersey.com. These are platforms that we could showcase our members and really tell the world about the mission and the importance of the African American Chamber of Commerce, not only to our members, but to the state of New Jersey and whoever tunes in. And on the Empowerment Hour, a member gets to showcase their business,
It's free. It's a marketing tool that they can use, and it's. Tell me a little bit about the growth of your membership.
Well, that's why you're great, because you really poured out some of the benefits, and I'm kind of just glossing over this. But just imagine, tradition. We're a chamber of commerce, but we have all these other vehicles to market your business, to position you for access to opportunities in the public and private sectors. So that's an inherent benefit. But our membership to date, we're way north of 800 members. But each year, we're not only growing membership, but the size and the scope and the industry representation of the membership is expanding. I would say that there's not too many industries that we don't have members that represent. Manufacturing, marketing, pharmaceutical, education. We have a number of colleges and universities now, local municipalities, state agencies, and then your traditional businesses, utilities, telecom, financial services.
And John, the chamber is located in New Jersey, in Trenton. The headquarters is in Trenton.
Yes.
But you are a statewide organization. So why have you stayed in Trenton, and why is that important to you?
Well, Trenton is the state capital. Trenton is my home. And Trenton means a lot to me. And Trenton is a city that has enormous potential, but it's grossly underperforming. So any way we can add value and contribute to improving the conditions of my hometown is where
you're going to make the whole state come back to Trenton,
absolutely.
Right, John?
State capital, county seat. Trenton makes, the world takes. Trenton's the place to be.
I agree. So we're going to end in a few moments because we want to do something else special about what you're doing with the New Jersey Symphony. So before we sign off on this part, and of course we're inviting you back, John. We knew today we wouldn't have enough time to even really begin to get into what you do. But this station, CNJN, was formerly Princeton Community Television, PCTV, and we have now rebranded. We're Central New Jersey Network, and we are seen nationally on several different platforms and services. And what would you like to say to those viewers on a nationwide basis about your organization?
Well, I would say that the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey is your partner for success. When you're looking to connect with black businesses and black people on issues around health, education, workforce, and business, there's no better partner than we are. We're an accredited institution. We have a number of ways to provide value and contribute to our mutual success. So give us an opportunity. Give us a call. Hit us up at aaccnj.com. That's
great. So we're going to switch gears for this last 5 minutes, John. We're getting a lot into this today. Now, in a couple of weeks, you're going to receive two big honors. On May the 18th, you're going to give the commencement speech for your alma mater, Fairleigh Dickinson University. You're also going to be conferred the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Congratulations to you, John.
Yes. And
then the next evening, on May 19th, you're going to be honored by the New Jersey Symphony and for the Spring into Music Moving Forward Together Gala. And just for a second, I'll go back to, we talked about George Floyd. The impact. So I always acknowledge the impact this had on my life, because the New Jersey Symphony came to you last year and said they were looking to diversify their board of trustees further, and they wanted to know if you had a member that you'd like to recommend to become a board of trustees member, and you recommended me, and I joined the board, which to me was a platform I never thought I would have access to. And since I've become a member, I've gotten to work, and they asked me to co-chair the Spring into Music Gala for 2022. So it's a great honor, and I, of course, recommended you to be the honoree because our focus is all about diversity. And you're really the gateway into diversity, into Central and Southern New Jersey. And so, in addition to the gala, the symphony has also moved very aggressively to bring more programming into central and southern New Jersey, focusing on New Brunswick and Trenton. They've started a new partnership now through our affiliation with the Boys and Girls Club of Mercer County, and they're in talks with Trenton Central High School, as well as Sprout University. Catherine Nunley's Smith Family Foundation has really made those two introductions. And then we will, after the gala, we'll begin to focus more on Camden. So all of this is going on. You're being honored. And we wanted to give the audience an opportunity to support the gala. All the proceeds of the gala are used to support the youth education programs of the New Jersey Symphony. They learn how to play the instruments, and they learn how to play with others, meaning youth from all over the state. And we all know the benefits of classical music for young people. Studies show that classical music helps to stimulate the brain. It improves memory. My favorite, it exercises imagination, and it helps reduce stress. So a lot of good reasons to have this program.
I think it's just amazing. Just affording these young men and women an opportunity to hone their skills with some of the best that New Jersey has to offer in this genre, if you will, I think is encouraging. In the fact that the African American Chamber of New Jersey has become a trusted agent. They came to us, we recommended you, and you're having a great time. They appreciate you being there. Your being there and the example and your contributions have now gave them a sense of hope that there's others like you. Because I know inherent there's some perceptions about black people and their ability. Our mutual goal here, Deborah, is to shadow those adverse perceptions and present to not only to this amazing symphony orchestra, but to the world that black people represent excellence, and we want to partake in all that's good that society has to offer. So support the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra because it's a great thing, doing great things to make people great.
Well, I'm very proud that we had a series of discussions with partners in New Brunswick, Trenton, and Camden to see what kind of programming would be the communities would be interested in having from the New Jersey Symphony. And so all of that is coming together with this gala. You can still purchase a sponsorship, donate an auction item, or simply make a financial contribution to the gala. And you can go to www.njsymphony.org if you'd like to do that. So this is Deborah Frazier for Money Thoughts. John Harmon, thank you so much for being here. I hope all of you will join us next time.